Tonight's assignment in Alaska is the story of an old bird who helped build the state. The DC-3 revolutionized air travel starting in the 1930s. Well, after all those years, only a few remain airworthy. Photojournalist Dan Carpenter and I found one still working hard out in the valley. Perhaps you've seen her out at the Palmer Airport, nose pointed skyward as if eager to escape. The matriarch of Alaska aviation.
Want to do assembly line there?
Bart Tiernan and his crew load her nearly to capacity.
It's a real short trip. It's only about 35 minutes.
The work this DC-3 does these days is hardly glamorous.
We're the best bang for the dollar, getting out there, taking supplies out.
Bush Air Cargo is just the latest name emblazoned on her fuselage. There have been so many over the years. She starts on her own terms.
And sometimes it takes a little bit of a miracle to get them started when they're cold.
The DC-3 first flew in 1935. At the time, it was the height of luxury for air travelers, and it was reliable.
It's not a difficult airplane to fly.
Its durability made it the ideal aircraft to fly people and supplies to help build Alaska when it was still a territory.
It's kind of like the Harley-Davidson of the air, and it's like a big dump truck.
This is Bush Air Cargo's specialty. Runs within 200 miles of the Anchorage Bowl. They're delivering construction supplies to a remote airstrip.
These are the windows looking after the marsh.
Amy Kohlhaas and her family bought land out here this past summer and are building a cabin. It's a tricky landing, but a grand entrance. In the winter, they say they're the only DC-3 in the world to land on skis.
Hey, Dad, how are you?
This particular aircraft was built in 1944 and has spent much of its life flying the last frontier. They think it may have been the first DC-3 to carry passengers into Alaska in the 50s, but it first took to the sky during the war.
You take a look at the back there, you can see it has a parachute door. So I'm sure this thing launched a lot of paratroopers.
She's one of only about 4 flying in Alaska. A few hundred are still flying in the world.
It's a gift that I'm putting in a position where I can preserve this aircraft and keep it working and keep it paying for itself.
Still building Alaska after all these years. The DC-6 is a larger propeller airplane. It's also increasingly rare. Northern Air Cargo retired theirs last year, but Everts Cargo still flies them up here. As for the DC-3, Bush Air Cargo says it could easily fly it for another 25 years.
Wow, I'm an airplane buff, and I'm jealous you got to fly in a DC-3.
It was very cool.
That's great. So Ted, it's old, 1944, right? Are these planes still safe to fly?
Well, the pilots who fly these things will tell you it's one of the safest planes that they've ever flown. But in Europe, the DC-3 has essentially been grounded because of health and safety rules. If you mention the TSA around some DC-3 pilots, they'll probably tell you the agency wants to have them grounded, but so far that has not happened here.
I love the engine noise they make. It's
Great
just so
sound.
distinctive,
It's
just
very cool.
like stepping back in time. Fascinating story. Thanks, Ted.
Thanks.